Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Dustin. I'm with Lare. I got Melissa on the camera today.
Hey guys.
So today we are going to talk in our Iowa gardening section about elderberries, some of their benefits, the aesthetics, and basically just getting one planted and why you would want it in your garden. So far I've already got my hole dug for these guys, this guy right here. And we're going to use some of our biotone starter fertilizer just to give it a really good chance at taking root really early. Not early, what's the word I'm looking for? Well.
Yes.
Well.
Yes, awesome.
Sorry. And just giving it a really good shot. So this particular spot is right next to one of the fountains on the property. And we're going to do the Lemony Lace Elderberry, specifically because of its color. So yellow is one of the most underutilized colors in foliage, in my opinion, in the garden. So we're going to put one on property.
Yeah, I love this plant. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, so it's an elderberry, obviously. It gets about 3 to 5 tall and wide.
Okay.
It blooms on old wood, but every few years you do kind of want to take it back and let it reflush.
For somebody that might be a new gardener, what does old wood mean, and do you have to be careful about how and when you trim and things like that?
Yes, so old wood would mean just like some of these existing branches. If you were to take this back every year, you're going to sacrifice a lot of your blooms.
Okay.
So it's putting on this growth right here. This is where the blooms are going to come out next year. So if you cut that off or anything like that, you're going to sacrifice those blooms. Now,
Okay.
you do have to clean these up every few years just because they are an elderberry family. So they do have a little bit of die off on them, but that's like an every 5 to 7 year time
Okay.
frame. You just want to give them a good rejuvenation trim.
Cool.
So, one of the benefits for elderberries, the whole family of elderberries, is they do produce berries and blooms. So they are really good to attract beneficial pollinators to your garden as well as birds. So this particular variety, it blooms in the spring and then it puts on bright red, beautiful berries in the fall that the birds go crazy for.
Okay.
So they're really good for the landscape in that aspect.
How do you have to have another plant in order to get that cross pollination for berries, or what does that look like?
You do. You will need another elderberry within about 60 feet from one, just so that they will cross-pollinate
Okay.
to produce the berries. If you don't have a pollinator within that 60 feet, you probably won't get the fruit.
Okay.
But a lot of elderberries are also grown for their fruit, so I would definitely suggest making sure you have another one in the landscape in some place. Now you could do another variety if you'd like. I don't think it has to be specifically the lemony lace
Okay.
because they are all part of the same family.
Now, can we eat the fruit, or is this a birds only sort of thing?
So for these hybridized versions, like the black lace elderberry, the black tower, the lemony lace, that is going to be a birds only fruit. You might get sick if you ate it. So now I will say the native species one that we have in Iowa, the fruit is edible and it actually tastes amazing. It's really good for making jams and jellies and such too.
Have you had
So
some before? I take it you have.
I have, and I loved
Okay.
it.
All
And
right.
it's really good on toast or even like crackers or anything.
Awesome. I'll have to
So-
look for some of that.
It's delicious. So, but let's go ahead and get this guy in the ground.
Okay. What kind of sunlight does this guy need?
Oh, so this guy needs at least 6 hours of sunlight.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you put him in a nice, bright, sunny location.
Okay.
If it does get any shade, you don't want it to get more than 4 hours of shade in that space.
What would happen if you had it in shade? Would it not have this bright, beautiful color to it?
Correct. It would probably revert to a darker green color, and it wouldn't get as big and be as happy.
Okay.
So you definitely want to give it as much sun as possible so that you get the show that you're looking for.
Yeah. I want to keep this beautiful color.
Definitely. So for this size plant, we have a 3-gallon container. So you're supposed to use about 1.5 cups of your biotone fertilizer.
Okay.
But like in life, I don't measure.
Okay. So, and this is really good just to kind of get the shrub started. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's got the essential nutrients and vitamins for it to give it a really good quick start on its root growth.
Okay.
But it also has the beneficial mycorrhiza, which if you haven't heard about mycorrhiza, we talk about it a lot here.
Yes.
It is a fungus that is good for the plant. So it creates a symbiotic relationship between the fungus and the roots of the plant. What it does is it attaches itself to the roots and puts little holes along it and feeds the plant nutrients and water from the soil in return for sugar.
Awesome.
So it
just gets it going really quick, right?
Yep.
It helps those roots get in there and
Definitely.
grow healthy.
Yep, it's a great jump start.
Can you use this like on anything? Shrubs, trees?
Yeah, so you
Okay.
can use it on basically any shrub, tree, perennial, except for the acidic loving things, specifically because of that mycorrhiza that's in it.
Okay.
You'd want to use something geared a little bit more towards that for, like your azaleas and rhododendrons and hollies and those acidic loving plants. So
awesome.
We're going to put about 1.5 cups in here.
This is also organic product, so it's not going to burn, right? You don't have to worry too much about exact measurements for that reason.
Correct. So this is an organic product, which is why I don't really measure it, because it's not going to hurt your plant in any aspect.
Okay, cool.
It's just going to be beneficial to it. So we'll put about 1.5 cups in there.
Okay.
One thing, so like what we do when we're landscaping and planting stuff, the plants kind of grow interestingly. I don't know how else to describe it, but there's definitely a front to your plants. So because we have this tree, this large crabapple, and these junipers over here, I want to put it so that it grows out more towards the patio. So that's why I'm facing it this way. It does have some lower growth on it, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that, and we'll just work around it for today. So, but we'll get it in there. It's just a hair above soil level, because of the mulch, and it'll eventually settle as it gets watered in and everything. So,
and your hole is just a little bit taller, like you said, but a little bit wider too, not super wide, right? So
correct. I'm not a big fan of creating those big holes, and as research has shown up through Iowa State, it's not as necessary as it used to be thought to be. So you want your plant to get acclimated to native soil as quick as possible. So we don't do a lot of amending or anything like that. We're just going to get it in the soil. We'll give it a nice good jump start with our biotone.
Yep.
But that's about it.
Okay.
You can fertilize it a little bit if you wanted to, but that's going to be just like a regular balanced 10-10-10 fertilizer in the spring, maybe in the summer, but you don't want to do a lot of fall fertilizing just because you don't want it to push growth right before it goes dormant.
Yeah, that makes sense, totally.
So I'll go ahead and get this guy backfilled.
All right. So you're just going to kind of break up that soil as you put it in?
Yep, any of these bigger clumps, and you'll probably see I accidentally disturbed a hill of tulips, but we're going to leave those in there and just kind of see what happens.
See what happens for springtime around here, huh?
Right. So, but yeah, any of these bigger clumps, I'm just going to break those up, and then there is some finer dirt, but we'll push that in.
Perfect. So your soil consistency can really vary in the type of soil depending on how big your beds are. I found that at my own house. I have some areas that are like super ridden with clay, and other areas that are a little bit more nicer, blacker dirt is what I would say. I have used like some of the worm castings in some of my clay areas. Have you used that product, or do you like?
I have, and it's something that we recommend. So if you are planting in a clay soil, the worm castings is, for lack of a better way to describe it, worm droppings.
Yes, yep. That's a very nice way to describe it.
So it's really good to actually help break down your clay and start making it a little bit more easy for the plant to grow through, drainage, and just improve that quality so that your plants will grow well in it.
Yeah,
so,
awesome.
And I think I dug out just a little bit too much, so we're going to put...
so you kind of kept that soil nearby in case you did need to backfill a little bit more, right?
Yep. So, and the nice thing is, you're putting a bunch of soil in here, so it helps keep the beds a little bit cleaner.
Yep.
Now you can rake, you get the dirt on the mulch, you can rake it out, hose it in and everything, but we actually will what's the word I'm looking for? Compost.
Yep, compost the soil.
So we save it, and it just goes right in the compost. So it looks like I have it nice and in here really well. Before I put this mulch on it though, I'm going to give it a nice good soak so that it can settle in, get any air pockets out. And we're just going to soak it really well. so that it settles in.
Perfect. Do you have anything that settles, or are you just going to add a little bit more soil down into those areas where it's a little low?
I'm going to add just a little bit more soil, but the mulch will be okay as well.
Okay.
As the mulch breaks down, it actually adds some soil as well. So
Perfect.
the flare, I will talk about the flare a little bit on this.
Okay.
It's not super visible.
Can you tell people what a flare might be if they haven't heard that from us before?
So the flare is going to be where the roots start on the trunk.
Okay.
So because this one's not very visible, this might be the flare, but it might be down there just a little bit. So
Okay.
I don't want to bury this by any means. I want this to be a little bit more above the ground.
Okay.
So what I'll do is we'll just make sure there's nice soil around here. We'll mulch, but then it'll thin out up to here, and
Okay.
we'll leave this exposed a little bit,
Okay.
probably a good inch around.
Just to kind of give it a little breathing room.
Yep. If you bury the flare on any tree or shrub, you're going to shorten the life of that tree or shrub, so definitely don't want to do that.
We want to give them the right start, right?
Absolutely. So good products, making sure things are, the flares are exposed.
Yep.
And then some good proper watering will help give it a really good start.
Perfect.
So one of the nice things about this shrub, the berries, I think I mentioned, the berries are nice bright red in the fall and it attracts the birds, but the foliage itself, that's why these are really grown, because it adds that nice yellow texture. However, in the spring when it first comes out, it's more of a red. So it has like multiple seasons of interest in that foliage texture.
Yes.
So it's a really great plant, but you can kind of see the mulch is in here, but I got it exposed over on the flare.
Looks beautiful.
Made a little bit of a mess, but we'll water that all in and make sure it looks nice.
Perfect. If people have any questions about elderberries or other plants, how could they reach us?
So we have Facebook, we have texting, email, you can call us, or you can even stop in and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions, help you get one picked for your property, or anything that you need on them, really.
Or any other gardening questions they might have, right? Yeah.
We are here for you as a resource and we are more than happy to help. So definitely hit us up if you have any questions, concerns, or comments or anything.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks.